Financial intermediation comprises of four components: sources of funds, application of funds, the lending function, and non-fund based services. We will look at the sources of funds and application of funds in some detail in this session, and the lending function and the non-fund based services in the sessions to follow. Sources of funds. Much like any business entity, financial intermediaries have equity shareholders. Hence, one of the sources of long-term funds for financial intermediaries is the equity shareholders' funds plus reserves and surpluses or retained earnings, as it is called in some countries. Banks also borrow among themselves and lend among themselves, referred to as interbank borrowing and lending. These are for short tenor and overnight in the call money market to meet their cash flow requirements. A large chunk of the source of funds for financial intermediaries comes from the savers who keep their savings invested as certificate of deposits, fixed deposits, checking accounts, savings accounts, etc. These collectively are the most significant source of funds, also referred to as loanable funds. So those are the main sources of funds. Now let's see, where do financial intermediaries apply or use those funds? Firstly, they give loans. You and I go to a financial intermediary to take a loan to buy a home, an automobile, etc. These loans are usually referred to as installment credit because every month a fixed sum of money is repaid by the borrower towards interest and the outstanding principal amount of the loan. Financial intermediaries also provide long-term loans to companies and businesses to enable them to invest in plant, machinery, land, building, and so on and so forth. These are normally referred to as term loans or project finance. In addition, financial intermediaries also provide what are called overdraft facilities, also referred to as working capital, to help companies and businesses to manage their cash flow mismatches day on day between receivables, payables, inventories, etc. Another main application of funds is the investments that financial intermediaries make in long-term securities and short-term treasury bills issued by the government, corporate bonds issued by highly rated corporates, commercial paper, etc. Last but not the least, banks also have some level of fixed assets such as land and building, and other assets such as technology assets comprising computers, servers, etc. That was a quick roundup of sources and uses of funds that you can see on the balance sheet of a typical financial intermediary. In the next session, we will look at the lending function in detail, that is, the need for and the nature of credit.